Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel, Soul Therapy Cafe, where we give the tea and the sparkle on your divine journey. And today I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you about you. Y-O-U. Okay? Like, who are you? Who the heck are you, really? I'm talking about who you really are. Your authentic self. I think that's what they call it. Like, who are you and who were you before you became what and who you needed to be to get through life? Now, we live in an age where we are told by our parents, by our society, by our teachers, by our peers, by the internet, like what we're supposed to be. For example, what the definition of happiness looks like, or what we should aspire to be, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, in like all areas of life. I'm talking about like, how you make a living, what you look like, how you should live, even like what you should do in your house. And they're even gone as far as telling us women like what we should do with our bodies. So that's kind of crazy in itself. It's amazing, because no wonder people don't really like know who they are. So I know, back to that internet business, it's like these influencers or people on the internet are showing up, not in the real world, but in the virtual world, showing us what we should eat. Because, you see all these people taking pictures of what they're eating and where they're eating at. Like, look what I'm having, and you think, ooh, that looks good. I want some of that, or, what someone's wearing, what their body looks like. And then it makes you feel, sometimes, it makes us feel like, oh, wow, that looks amazing, especially if people are commenting and they are like liking it, right? Because it seems like people want to be liked, and no one feels good about a post or something that they like put on social media and like no one responds to it. Like it seems like we all like need this attention, you know what I mean? And so it's a wonder why we're just all like messed up in terms of like who we are. And check this out, like when you first meet somebody, the first thing they ask you normally is like, so what do you do? Which is kind of crazy, because it shouldn't really be that way. But I assume that people do that because they kind of want to know what level of respect that they need to give to you right up front. That kind of determines, like, in their mind, like, well, this is the most important thing. I need to know what they do, so that I need to know how I could like leverage whatever it is that I have in terms of, how I see my life, but also how I should speak to them, how I should address them, making it all about like what you do, which what you do is not who you are. That's just like what you do, right? And so the more important question is about like who are you, like your authentic self, and on the divine journey to become the best version of yourself, to really healing and to getting back to that authentic place. Because a lot of us like really, we thought we knew who we are. We thought we did, but once we start to peel back the layers, especially on this journey, this divine journey, it's like we start to understand that that was just really like a reaction. That was a trauma response. Oh, I did that because I needed this, but that's not who I really am, and that's not what I really like to do. It's just like what I did because people approved, and I got a lot of attention, and the money was good or whatever. But that's not really, I wouldn't use that to identify myself and put a label on that that being a big part of me. So you see how you can get misconstrued. It's like, you did that, but why did you do that? Oh, you did it for another reason other than like being true to yourself. And I think, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to think too. But I'm going to say that I think we should, when we meet someone, the first thing that comes to mind is not about what do you do. Okay, I get it. It is important, but it's not like number one, and it's not um, like who you are. Okay, and anyway, like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could just go by like energy, like how we felt, how the person left us, how we felt when we were around them? Like, couldn't that be like good enough? I mean, or is it all about the money, huh? All about, I'm hearing all about the Benjamins, right? Like, we want to be around people that make a certain amount of money to make us feel good, or we feel more secure. But maybe the problem is not about the money. Maybe the problem is how society makes us feel if we don't have what we perceive to be enough. Because maybe some of us don't believe that we are enough. But then we live in a society that says you need all these things, we need all these things to be acceptable. We know we need the car, we need the clothes, we need the accessories that go along with it. We need that house, we need that, we need that flow, we need that attitude, we need that whole look, and this is why you meet people who look successful, who have all the material trappings of what being happy should be. But then when you get to know them, they're miserable, right? They're miserable. They're complaining. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the finer things in life too. Not knocking it. But you have to already be happy, because those things don't make you. Okay, so they should not break you, as they say, right? And they cannot necessarily make you happy, but they can make your life a little bit maybe more convenient, okay? So I'm saying, getting back to that question about being your authentic self and who the heck are you, let's kind of revisit that. I think it goes way back, trying to figure out who you are. And I've heard people say, I gotta find myself, I gotta find myself. And I mean, I get it, because a person that does not know who they are, they do not know their worth. They are lost, and they really can't really manifest and become who they truly are. Do you understand? They don't really know who they are. They don't know how valuable they are. They don't know how amazing they are. You don't know how beautiful you are. You don't know how blessed you are. You kind of walk around with this idea of, you don't really appreciate, or you don't really feel abundant. You don't really feel like what's happening right now is enough. And I know some of you are going through a lot right now, trying to figure out what to do with your life, and things are changing, the world is changing, and you're like, you know what, I'm not really buying into this whole matrix idea. I really would like a new life, a reset. I really want to do this, but then I can't, because I got this going on or whatever, but I kind of feel like what's happening is that the more you deny your true self, the more it keeps calling you, keeps showing you, keeps trying to call you back. And you keep putting, or your ego keeps putting up reasons why you cannot. And as a result, it's delayed. It's delayed because, your ego wants to stay comfortable. It wants to stay where it's at. Because if you decide to say, I'm going to take my power back, the ego is like, whoa, kind of it loses a job, it's out of a job, at least for a while, so it wants to keep you comfortable and kind of stuck. So let's get back to that whole idea about what I was saying earlier about going way back, finding and understanding who you really are. And I think in this lifetime, it starts in our childhood. Okay. So think about you as a child and what you love to do and what you were like before life just kind of took over. And, I talk to people all the time, and they tell me, well, how do you find out who you are or who you really are? I think I know, but well, let's go back to that childhood thing. Okay. So let's just think, if you can remember back when you were very small and you used to like to do certain things, you had certain unique things that you experienced, but also that you gravitated toward before someone else or something else kind of talked you out of not being that person anymore for whatever reason. It could be like, they didn't understand it, or they didn't think it was, acceptable, or they wanted you to be something or somebody else that you were not. And in order to be loved, you showed up the way that they wanted you to, just to be accepted or to be like loved, or maybe you wanted friends or wanted to belong to a particular group, and you knew that the way that you showed up was not going to be acceptable, so you kind of hid that. These are the kind of things that happen in between, like like that childhood up into adulthood, and on and on. It just continues until we kind of say no, no, no. We get to the age where we say we're not going to apologize about who we are and what we do. We are what we are. I am what I am. Accept it, and that comes with self-love. I love and accept myself kind of attitude. I don't care what people think about me, and I'm loving me, and that's like the next step. So the first step is really remembering, going back to that childhood and understanding and seeing yourself, just being an innocent observer of yourself as a child, and what things that you gravitate toward, what things that were natural, you just kind of just like did. Because remember, children, they just like, they have no filter sometimes, or they just do what's natural to them, and until something happens and it kind of throws them off, right? And children are very, very resilient. They're very smart, much more than we give them credit for. Okay, they observe everything. And if you can observe yourself for a minute, were you creative? Were you funny? Were you studious? Did you look outside and were you a dreamer? Did you like to be with other people? Did you like to be outside? Did you like animals? Did you like art? Did you find yourself being around older people? I mean, what was it like for you? Just think about that. Were you creative and artistic? Did you like music? Whatever it is that you're remembering about yourself, okay? Those are all like indications of who you are and what you love and what's natural for you. Where you're sensitive, were you like the kind of person that, you really thrived in certain environments, whether it was like in a group or by yourself or on stage or whatever, like just observe yourself. Spend time with that inner child, because that inner child is very, very much alive. Very much alive, and never ever goes away. So it's like that whole idea of like doing that shadow work and remembering that little person that is you, and remembering to nurture that inner child. They call it shadow work, and of course it is, but I like to just say like inner child, because we all have that. And sometimes that inner child like shows up, and sometimes it's convenient, and sometimes we're aware of the inner child because we're acting out that childhood, those wounds and so forth. And notice that inner child and how it responds. It's almost like sometimes it just like, we try to suppress it, and then it comes out, and sometimes it comes out surprisingly, and we don't really identify it as the child, but really it's the child showing up in the adult body. So check that, just notice that. So doing that inner child work, spending time with that child, nurturing and giving and being all the things that you wanted when you were a child. Give that to you now, okay? Now, getting back to that more adolescent stage, I talked about like a few minutes ago about like loving and accepting yourself, okay? Like getting to the point in life where you say, you know what, I don't care what other people are doing. I'm doing me. I'm doing this is who I am. I love myself and I accept myself. And some of us get there and many of us don't, but let's just say we're getting there, or we're already there. We're like, you know what? I tried the other way. I can't please anyone. I can only be good at being myself. There's no one else like me, and I value myself, and I'm going to do me, okay? And that's fabulous. That sounds like somebody's on the right track out there, okay? And on the journey, that journey is going to lead you to that right track. And sometimes it would mean like letting go of people, okay? Definitely like letting go of a lot of ideas that you once had, you know, but it's just all the layers and all, you know, all these layers and layers you're going to let go so that that inner self, that true authentic self can really come through and shine, and it becomes a lot more dominant, more and more dominant, the more that you allow it to like shine through, you know. Pretty soon that space of light gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean? So then all of a sudden you start to feel like, oh wow, I start to feel lighter, I start to feel more natural, I start to like feel happier, you know, not realizing that you were showing up in the past as just a version of yourself, but now you get to be like your true self, you know, the real you, like what your soul is like calling for, you know. So showing up and saying, hey, this is me. I'm not, you know, I'm not being influenced by people who don't know me, who don't love me, who don't support me, who don't pray for me. You know, I'm just going to be true to myself, and I'm going to love that. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel natural. And I'm going to say, hey, it's good to be back. It's good to be me. You know, my life is great. Okay. So another aspect of showing up as your authentic self is like, now you can use that you, that real you, to do what you were born to do, okay? Because before you didn't know yourself, or you were showing up as somebody else, you know? And the sad part about it, I have to say, is that when a person does not know themselves, they show up and they're reckless, and oftentimes they damage everything and everyone on their journey. Okay, that includes relationships where they sabotage because they're never happy, or, you know, opportunities, all kinds of stuff, you know. They let people down and all of that. So now you say, okay, I'm myself, you know, I claim myself back, I took my power back, I know who I am. Then here's where the magic really starts. It's like, once you know who you are, you take that power back, now you can really get some stuff done. Life really gets really, really good because you know your power, you know your worth, you love yourself, you're showing up. You can see what you are here to do, what your purpose is in life, really, okay? Because you got all that, you know, those clouds out of the way. Now that sun comes through, and you can say, wow, okay, it was already within me. It was always mine, you know? But now I'm doing it, and I'm loving it, and I'm natural at it. It's easy. But I thought I had to be like, you know, everybody else. And, you know, not really like saying that, but it's like, well, I thought that life was like this, but no, life is like this, you know? You can be your real self and love it and know it and value it, and even like make money from it, really, you know, because no one else is going to do it like you. And the more you become you, like, the better it gets, you know. So doing what you were born to do on your divine journey, but showing up in your life purpose and doing what you were born to do, like nobody else's business, like no one else can beat you at that. So it really gives credence to that, you know, that quote I said earlier, like, you know, like being yourself because no one else can be you. It's like, I think I've heard something like, it's like, be yourself because everyone else is taken, right? And there's only one you. And I used to hear that like years ago, and I thought, oh, that's really nice, you know, but it really, I really get it now, you know. And I think everyone will get it, hopefully. You know, it would be a tragedy if you don't, you know, but of course you got to do the work, you know, right? And doing the work is the part that you have to tell yourself, you know what, I got to do this work. I got to take responsibility for my life, and I'm worth it. I deserve it. I want to get to my authentic self. Like, how can you like live, you know, and die and not live your life's purpose, not heal yourself, not come here and do what you were meant to do? and show up, because it would be a tragedy. The world would be like not as beautiful if you could not show up as your authentic self, you know? So right now I'm gonna pull some cards. I got my deck, Work Your Light, Oracle card deck, and I am going to see what message the collective needs to hear right now for my message today. And I just kind of like felt called to kind of share that, you know, because it's so annoying when people kind of like, you know, they just really judge people based on like what they do, you know. And I think it's more prevalent in certain societies more than others, you know what I mean? Especially the big countries or more developed countries, you know, where, you know, people are so influenced by what society says. You know, we have lots of choices, but only one option, and that's just to, like, you know, win, or, you know, make more money, or have more material things or whatever, which really is not really about that. You know what I'm saying? So as we, like, you know, we learn and we grow, we get better at it. So let's pull a card here. Let's see here. Ooh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna pull 3 cards. I feel called to pull 3 cards. Okay, so the first card that I see, it says yes. Okay, just say yes. And what I'm feeling from this is just like, just say yes to your calling. Just say yes to you. Just say yes to the real you, being your authentic self. Like, just go for it. Like, it's like absolutely yes. Just do you, be all of you. Let your inner light like shine through. Just be you, okay? And that's so affirmative, so positive, such a bright energy. And it's saying that your purpose, your mission is divinely guided. It's who and what you're supposed to be, and everything will kind of like, it's kind of like going with the wind, you know? When you're walking in your unique path, you're going with the wind, not against it. When you're showing up as someone else, even if you know it or not, you know, you're going against the grain, you're going against the wind. And it's not going to be as easy, no matter how much, but it's always a struggle to kind of continue to show up like that, you know? And when you say yes to yourself, it's like, things get easier, okay? They do. Okay, so, wow. Okay, the next card is called Awakening. All right, look at her. She's rising up. It's like she's sleeping. So basically, you know, this whole being your authentic self thing is an upgrade, okay? Showing up as your real self, doing the work, will definitely like awaken you to your true path, your true purpose, okay? And it is a journey, but it's a beautiful journey. And of course, you're worth it, right? But this whole thing about understanding and being and walking in your true path and your authentic self it really is a journey back to who you are. It's like a remembering of who you really, really are. And it's a beautiful thing. And, you know, it takes a while sometimes for us to like allow that whole new remembering to like integrate into like, you know, our like selves or whatever. But it's a gradual thing where, you know, you kind of like it's like when you fit into something that you couldn't fit into before, like maybe a dress or a pair of pants or shoes or whatever. Now, and now it fits, you know, now it feels good, you know, it's like not too small, it's not too big, you know, it fits good. And you're glad that you held on to that item, because it's like, you know, it's even better now, right? You don't have to go and buy another one. So yeah, it's about that awakening, that remembering. So rebelonging to yourself, okay? Okay, so the next card is about, it says stop overthinking it, all right? You see, it says you're already doing it. Stop overthinking, keep facing your true north node. So again, right on point, north node, that's your purpose. You know, it says, you know, you're too much in your head. How can you like not be like you know? But sometimes we kind of like try to like say, no, 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 I better not like show up like that. It's gonna make people uncomfortable, or I don't want to have to deal with this or whatever. It's like, so what? Don't be okay. Just be yourself. They'll get used to it. Like, why sacrifice your true self for what others think and what you think they're gonna say? You might be surprised. They may not say what you think they're gonna say at all, you know? So stay out of your head, get grounded, just say yes to yourself, stop trying to suppress the real you, okay? And let it integrate. Let your body, let your spirit kind of like remember who you are. Remember who you are. And it's so funny because I'm thinking right now, like I've heard that like in I don't know if it was The Lion King or something, but it's like, remember who you are. It just kind of brings to mind like that story about, the lion that was raised by sheep. And I may have mentioned it before, but about somehow like this lion, gets separated from the pride. And, clearly he was a little child or a little, like cub, okay? And he loses his way, and then he comes across like this flock of sheep. And so, it's just a cub. He doesn't know the difference. It's just like that pure, like little, that little person that you once were. And he just wants to kind of like belong, he just wants to play. He just wants to get in wherever he fits in. And that's kind of like that little person that you once were, right? And then he starts to grow, and he doesn't know that he's, really all that different, because he kind of wants to fit in. He knows he's different, but he's trying to kind of fit in. Do you get me? And he grows up, and of course, that sheep, they all like hang together. They're like in a group. They don't ever separate. You never see a sheep alone, like they're always in a flock. And so this little cub grows up to be a lion, but he doesn't really like know he's a lion, because he spent most of his life with the sheep. Okay. And then the sheep around him are trying to make him feel bad about being a lion. But he doesn't know what a lion is, because he's never seen a lion, right? And of course, the sheep are not going to tell him that he's a lion. Like, why would they do that? They want to make him feel bad about himself, right? And so, the natural lion tendencies are always coming through. Like every now and then he gets this urge to like roar, and then of course the sheep get really pissed off. They're like annoyed AF, and they're like, man, come on, you and that noise, you got to cut that out. I mean, come on, it's not acceptable, it's not cool. Be like us, just keep going and keep your head down. And he's like apologizing and trying to fit in, and I won't do it again, and these people don't like it, and maybe something must be wrong with me. And then every now and then, that his tail is going back and forth, the lion. It's because he's trying to swat those flies. And then of course, the sheep, they're annoyed again, and they're not talking to him, making him feel bad about himself. And he's just trying to like, okay, I'm going to try really hard. But it's just natural to be a lion, he's a lion. Until one day, I mean, it was a strange occurrence, but out of the blue in the prairie, it's like, this lion, like this Lion King, I guess he gets separated from his pride, or he had to, fight for his pride, and he lost. So he's looking for a new pride, but he finds himself in the distance. He finds himself in this prairie land, and he sees like these sheep from a distance, and he comes closer, which is kind of really weird, because, like lions and sheep really don't really hang out in the same neighborhood. But anyway, it's a myth. It's a story, okay? So you get where I'm going. It's like he gets closer and closer, and it gets a little bit too close, and then the sheep started to go everywhere. They get nervous, like, oh my God, there's a lion, danger. And then the lion that was raised by the sheep, thinking he was a sheep all along, he's like, what's going on? What happened? And then the Lion King, who comes along looking, just kind of lost, looking for a new pride, he says to the lion that does not know that he is a lion, he says, what are you doing here? What are you doing here amongst these sheep? And then the lost lion says, Sheep? What do you mean? These are my friends. This is my family. How could you say that? I belong here. He says, you crazy fool. You don't belong here. You're a lion. You're like me. And then the lost lion says, a lion? A lion? What's a lion? And so the Lion King takes the lost lion to the stream of water and he says, look at yourself. Look in the mirror. You're like me. You're a lion. You're king of beasts. You take no companions. You are the mighty king. Lions and sheep don't belong together. He says, come with me and I will show you how to be a lion. And that's kind of like your story. You did not know that you were surrounded by sheep. You knew something was off. You knew something didn't feel natural. But now you know because you are awakening. Okay? You are awakening to your true self. Okay? Now, it's up to you to take the next steps in your journey. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. And of course, there's so much to discover on this journey about yourself, about your worth, about your value, about your beauty, about your talent, about your authentic, unique qualities like nobody else. And that's all I got for you today. I want you to take this message, let it marinate, and leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me who you are, your real, authentic self. Not what you do, but who you are. That's all I got for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.